I think we have everybody. Let me know when you'd like to begin.
Let's go ahead. Let's do roll call.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Haugley.
Present.
Commissioner Spikers.
Here.
Good to see you. Commissioner Herron. Commissioner Herron, you are muted. You'll have to unmute for roll call. There you go. Just so you know.
Present.
There we go. Very
Sorry.
good. Good job. All right. Commissioner Carter.
Here.
And Commissioner-elect Bowers.
Here.
Good. You
Good.
failed, or you passed the second test. We also have General Counsel Skip Hauser with us, our executive team, and many guests. And if you haven't already, just pop your name in the chat, and that will help Jennifer with minutes and record keeping. Thank you very much. Okay, Commissioner Haugley, the meeting is yours.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, let's go ahead and thank you for the roll call. Move on to the next item on the agenda is approval of the board meeting agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the board meeting agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter. Can I have a second?
Okay, I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Herron. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor of the approval of the board meeting agenda as presented, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. Let the record show that Commissioner Norris is not present. So thank you very much. Move on to the next item is public comment. And so I'll go ahead and ask if there's any public comment. If anyone would care to comment this evening, please signify by saying your name and your address. Not hearing any. Is there anybody else that would like to make a public comment? And for the third time, is there anybody that would like to make a public comment? Hearing none, moving on to the consent agenda. With regards to the consent agenda, I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter. Do I have a second to approve the consent agenda?
I just have a question.
Yes.
The resolution goes into the consent agenda. Did we move all of that? It looks like we did some rearranging of time and.
Yes, actually, Commissioner Herron, you're correct. And if you'd like, if you'd like to pull the commissioner meeting dates from the consent agenda and vote on that separately, we can. There was a late change to that today, and maybe not everybody has seen that. So we can pull that from the consent agenda if that's okay with Commissioner Carter, who made the motion.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. So you want to, if it's.
So you just need a second, and so basically the motion is to approve the consent agenda, pulling item C, the resolution approving the commissioner meeting dates. And so you're looking for a second to approve that.
Noted.
I think
Thank you.
can we do both the C and D, section C and D?
Yes, you can pull both of those. You can pull any
Yeah.
item from the consent agenda. So Commissioner Herron has asked that item C and D be pulled from the consent agenda. And based on that, they be removed. And Chairman Haugley, you do have a motion, but you don't have a second yet now. Commissioner
Okay,
Herron, are you willing to second that based on these two pulls?
Yeah, with the amendment, I will second that.
Thank you very much for that. All those in favor of the consent agenda removing items C and D, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Commissioner Carter, did you vote? Thank you very much.
Aye. Yep.
Motion carries. And so thank you very much. To the next item is
So,
our
Commissioner Haugley.
swearing in ceremony.
No,
No, you need to
Commissioner
address
Haugley-
items
So with
C and D now. They've been pulled from the agenda, so they now are singular items of which need to be addressed specifically by the body. Resolution 723-1225, the regular commission meeting dates would be before you at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hauser. So we'll take the first one, resolution 723-1225. 1225, looking for a motion to approve that item.
Do we need
Now-
that before we can hear Emma's, all right,
Made and
yeah,
seconded.
Don't
And then
we
we go to
have
the-
to move that
And then we can
out
go to the
of the
question.
we need to move it out of the consent agenda and
Emma,
We've already done
Emma,
that.
we have removed it, so it is on the
Right.
table now for consideration. So we're now discussing resolution for the regular commissioner meeting dates. We need a motion and a second, and we'll have some discussion.
okay.
Thank you, Emma. So looking for a motion, Commissioner Carter, did you approve the motion? Item number
Uh,
C?
Okay, I'll make the
Sure.
motion. I make a motion to approve the resolution 7231225, approving regular commission meeting dates for 2026.
Thank you, Commissioner Herron. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter. Any further discussion on that item?
I have a
Yes.
lot of discussion.
I
Okay.
will give you just a little bit of quick background and give some explanation. This is the same schedule that we had last year. There's no meeting in June to allow for the attendance of the Rural Hospital Chelan meeting. In addition, the November and December meetings are adjusted by a week to account for the holidays. And then there is the January meeting. There are 5 Thursdays in January. And we want to be able to give you timely financials and timely report for the board meeting in January. So we are proposing that we move it to the 5th Thursday so you can get your packets a week ahead. Or otherwise, it would end up being like it was this week, where you would have finance committee on Tuesday, and then you would get your packets Tuesday afternoon, and the board meeting would be Thursday. By moving it to the 5th Thursday, it allows us to give you a week of review for your packets before the meeting. So those are the considerations that we took into account with this proposal.
Okay, I do have quite a bit of issue. I've been raising the issue of finance reports for over a year, and pretty much nobody's really responded other than, no, we can't do that in the finance meeting. So I am not, I'm against this resolution because I would like to change the dates completely to the first Tuesday or Thursday so that there is enough time for the finance packets to come out in a timely fashion, which I have had many times, 1, maybe 2 days to look at some really serious information, voluminous. And a couple of times I was doing it at 3 a.m. the day of, and I don't appreciate that. And I would like to change that so that everyone doesn't have that kind of stress. Second, I would like to change the time. I don't think 5 o'clock is something that our public has an opportunity to actually be here and listen to these meetings. And I think at 6 o'clock would be a compromise to where most meetings are taking place at 7 at night, public entities. I think 6 o'clock would be a good compromise. So that's my input. I would not vote. I would vote against this resolution without looking or discussing these types of issues that have come up with for me. So
just to be clear, David, are you talking about moving it from the effectively the 3rd or 4th Thursday to the 1st Thursday? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, just to give plenty of time for the finance folks to come up, because they are working overtime to get these in. I know that. And I think if we gave them an extra, I don't know how many days that would be, but it would give them extra time to be able to do that for our finance meetings. So we could have finance meetings on the Tuesday before the first Thursday of the month. And that would be very helpful, I'm sure, for the finance committee, whoever's on it, to be able to absorb what is being presented to us. Second, as I said, the meeting time at 5 o'clock we used to meet at 6:30 or 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
We had a lot of public participation then.
Mhm.
Since we moved it to 5 o'clock, we've had no public participation. So I would like to see a little bit more transparency. We're doing a lot of great things here. Why not allow people to listen to all these great things we're doing? And 5 o'clock, a lot of people are just getting back, taking the kids back from school or just getting back from work. It just doesn't make sense. It's only one day a week or one day a month to, and 1 hour extra in the later realm. So that's my proposal.
Any other comments from the rest of the board?
I would echo Commissioner Spikers. In the past, I think that it's a legitimate concern about the time because we wanted to include public participation, and 5 o'clock may be way too early. And so I know that one of the reasons that it was changed is to give the Finance Committee ample time to have it ready. But yet, even after we change it, it's not always ready.
Mhm.
So I think to have it the beginning of the first part of the first Thursday of the month and make it at 6:30, maybe we could get more community engaged and come in and act participatory in our open public meeting, because I'd like to see an in-person meeting. Once a month is not going to kill us by not, and plus we need to be more in the professional atmosphere rather than always having to, it gives also the board opportunity, to update one another and see what's going on. I think that it's a way for us to really feel like we're part of the process, but we're so far removed from the environment, Anyway, I echo. I will not also vote on this if that is something that we are going to go by.
Commissioner Carter?
Yeah. So I disagree that being in person would increase participation. I feel very strongly that having virtual meetings helps working parents, those that are taking care of elderly spouses, people that travel. I think that it's very nice to meet in person when we can, perhaps a couple times a year, I think would be lovely, but not regularly. I strongly disagree with that. I don't have strong feelings about the time of day, and I certainly think that if the Finance Committee thinks that the first Thursday works, like I'm fine with that as well. I seem to remember us making it earlier to accommodate people that had elderly family members that needed to be have meals prepared at a regular schedule. So if that has changed, like I'm totally cool with that. I'm pretty flexible, especially now that my boys are older. Thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome.
I'll comment on the Finance Committee, or actually maybe CFO Ritter would like to. There has only been a couple of occasions when the finance packet has not been ready a week before the meeting. This month is a great example because and last month because we moved the meeting to accommodate the holiday. Those are the only exceptions. Other than that, his finance team has done a stellar job of making sure those packets have been on time and had time for people to review. So I don't know if CFO Ritter, if you'd like to comment on that. I feel very passionate that your team has been on time and providing that information timely.
Well, as I said, I'm going to butt in here. As I said, the finance folks have been working overtime trying to get these out, but there was more than 2 times. I can name 4 times in the last year where I did not get the packet 1 week ahead of time. And there was a couple of times I know I sent over an email or I had to talk to Patrick one time saying, I was reading this at 3 a.m. So, yeah, I no doubt Patrick and the team have been working like mad people over there, like there's no tomorrow. But unfortunately, it just can't be done all the time, and wasn't done for approximately 4 times. The responses I got at the time, if you recall, was, well, this is that was the whole idea, to do less than 1 week. Well, we're going to be doing working sessions where we're going to get the reports a couple days ahead of time, maybe 3 days ahead of time. And that's what happened during this whole process. During the whole process, when we were assessing the bonds and everything else that was going on. And I really thought that it prevented me from doing my due diligence as a commissioner on the district. And that kind of struck a bad chord with me, I guess. And I would not want to blame it on anyone. But now that we can actually change that, that time and the actual dates, I think then the pressure would be off everybody and there wouldn't be any complaints. So.
Patrick?
Yeah, the majority of the time we were able to get it a month in advance, but yes, there were 4 times during the year. That's the times when, of course, the changes in November, December, and then there's a couple of months during the year where the third week of that third Tuesday, falls very quickly, right? Especially when the month starts on a Tuesday. So those are the couple of times where that did happen. Otherwise, they've been, as everybody has said, the finance team has really done a great job of trying to get that closed within 5 or 6 business days after the end of the month there. So that being said, if those 4 times is unreasonable, I don't know how to make a change in regards to that, because it's just where it falls in the calendar.
Moving it that 1 week further out to the first Thursday of the month, do you see that being? How do you feel about that? What's the cause?
The regular board meeting would then fall on the first Thursday of the month, and then you would be reviewing. So, for example, January's meeting would then be held in February, and you would be looking at December data in February instead of in January. This, when we do it in the third of the month, you're getting more timely financials to review in that same month. So yes, it's pressed for time for some of the commissioners to be able to review that, but the majority of the months it's not that pressed. So that's the trade-off. If you move to that first week, then you're seeing data 2 months behind.
Yeah. What I'm seeing here is a balancing act between allowing the finance team to put the information together appropriately for review by the finance committee, David and myself currently, and then for the board meeting, so that we can, again, have timeliness of information, adequate time to ask questions, if you will, as we frequently do.
I would also, if the cadence of where you had finance committee the same week as board was not overbearing, then you would be able to have that, right? Because then both the finance committee and the board meeting would be on the 4th week of the month, and therefore you would get your week in advance every time that way, except for that January where we would need it to move to the 5th week, simply because, as you know, January 1st is on a Thursday this month, so that's where we have those extra days off. But otherwise, then if we moved finance committee to that Tuesday before the board meeting, if everybody's comfortable with that, then we would be able to get the financials. You'd still be reviewing them that same month, and then the board meetings would be on that same week. I don't know if that's an amenable compromise that people would look at that way.
I personally don't have a problem with that, but before we go there, let me throw out a couple of things. One is the issue of in-person versus virtual, and then the second one being simply the time of our board meeting. The virtual versus in-person, I have been involved with several different organizations as we went through COVID, and where we used to meet in person all the time. And I think a lot of us that enjoy that interaction in person and the ability to communicate and see each other. I just think we all enjoy that. I do know that from practical experience that the virtual has enabled every organization that I've been a part of to enhance growth in the organization with membership and attendance, simply because of the convenience that it affords people. In our particular case, as a public entity, affords the ability to record, we record these meetings so that we can be transparent and show them to people that choose to watch them offline, if you will. So I'm certainly in favor myself of the virtual option. However, I do appreciate the idea of if we were to coordinate some type of in-person, maybe once or twice a year, and work that out. I don't know if we're going to, I hate to postpone things, and I'd like to move this off the agenda. But I also think that, you know, my personal vote would be keep it virtual. What about the time? And I would ask probably Renee, because I think one of the reasons that we moved it earlier in the day was to, quite frankly, we had a lot of our staff, our executive team and our staff that have been attending meetings, which is a lovely change in my mind to have our people that are actually engaged in the enterprise able to be with us. And I don't know what type of a conflict that might create with regards to moving it to a 6 or 6:30 timeline. At some level, it all becomes a compromise to accommodate, you know, efficiencies, effectiveness, and certainly transparency that we're all striving to achieve. So that's my 2 cents.
Commissioner
Comments?
Hugley, I do think that we could definitely accommodate CFO Ritter's suggestion. If the Finance Committee is willing to have the Tuesday, the fourth week of the month before the board meeting, if that worked for the Finance Committee, we could definitely accommodate that. That would be something that would maybe be a good compromise if that works for Commissioner Spikers.
Yeah, it works for me.
Can we hear with our new elected commissioner as well, what he thinks about it? Let's hear his voice.
Sure. And then Commissioner Hugley asked me to respond to the question about the time. We could go back and look at records if you'd like, but we've actually had more attendance virtually by community members and staff members since we've moved it to 5 o'clock. We've had a tremendous amount more attendance at 5 o'clock than we did previously. Some of your staff start their day as early as 6 a.m. And so the later in the day, you're now working 12-hour days or longer to be able to accommodate this meeting. And I think it's been wonderful to have the education for the staff and have the staff get the exposure to the commissioners by being able to be available. So I think 5 o'clock is working. We've had City Council Representative Kat Cotton attend many of our meetings, and we've had others chime in as well. So I think the 5 o'clock is working, and we have had better attendance. So
I don't think so. I disagree.
We have the statistics. We can track that. That's easy.
I have specifics. I've been on the board for 20 years, and we had a lot more attendance prior to COVID. And when we had the board meetings at 6:30, 7 o'clock, even I think it was 6, or we moved it to 6 to accommodate some of the staff so they could attend better. But we do have a duty to our constituents, the general public. We are a public entity, and I would ask that again that we move this to 6 o'clock rather than 5 to accommodate potential public input, which has not been actually. I can count on one hand in the last 4 years the number of actual people that have come and actually signed up to watch our meetings from the general public that were not invited.
I feel that way about the pre-COVID days in person too, though. Those rooms were empty.
Well, I don't know about that, because when I was on the board between 2010 and 2020, we had an average of 3 or 4 people come to the meetings every time. I personally don't mind virtual meetings, though. I prefer virtual meetings myself. There were a couple of times I was in a state park during the meeting, and I had
Likewise. Yep.
So I was unable, and I'm not going to. I'll take the time for the meeting, but I like to be where I am, and so I think that's really very, very convenient. So I am in favor of virtual meetings. I do want to have that meeting time changed, though, for the benefit of the public. I mean, we need to benefit the public, not necessarily staff, even though I love them dearly. But that's not what it's about. It's about the general public in a public meeting, in a public entity. So,
Yeah, let's
Right.
not forget about when we're talking about the public that frequently attend or monthly public meeting, many of them are elderly, they're seniors, and I know many of those people,
Mhm.
even before COVID. So they like to go out and socialize because they're always at home. And so, and we don't see too many young families that come.
Mhm.
Sure, they do, you know, they do the virtual because they're tech savvy, but many of our population that are more permanent or stable that lives in our community, they look forward to attending in-person meeting to be able to talk to the commissioners as well and participate. So let's not forget the seniors in our valley that
Thank
are
you.
very looking forward to this as well.
So, we are in a
Oh,
situation
Mark
here.
wanted to, Commissioner Bowers wanted to say something, I think.
Oh, Mark?
Yeah, speaking as commissioner-elect and the new kid on the block.
Commissioner-elect.
My experience with commission meetings is that has always been entirely public, open to the public in meeting in person. I think those work great, but this is a new era. And from my standpoint, it seems to me that there's a great potential for doing both. I mean, why not allow people to come to the meeting in person, but also allow for virtual meetings.
Which we have. We have that available at the
You're
hospital.
into the option.
However, the time of 5 o'clock, most people are on their way home and trying to prepare meals
Mhm.
and get kids off to their homework.
Mhm.
So I guess I would compromise on the time. I don't have an issue with the date or the days.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
just feel strongly that the public should be personally involved if they choose to be,
Mhm. Thank you for
be
that.
it in person or virtually. I don't
Mhm.
see a barrier.
Yeah. So, my bias is definitely virtual and affording the opportunity, as Mark has gracefully stated, that certainly providing the opportunity for people to be in person if they want to, come in,
I
or
think the
do it a
optics
couple times
also
a year.
are, thank you,
Go ahead,
Commissioner.
Mark.
I think the optics of not having folks invited to be in person is not really a very good optic in terms of us representing the community.
Thank you for that.
I think that we do provide the in-person space if people need accommodation or they do
Mhm.
want to come in person. Is that right, Renee?
That
We
is
do.
correct.
Okay, is that used today by anybody besides staff?
No. Never once, other than the board.
There we go.
I guess I would add that
So-
what's most important is not what's convenient for us. It's what's the optics are for the public. And currently, I think we're probably a little bit narrow in terms of the times that people could be available.
Mhm. So
Thank you,
what I'm
Commissioner
hearing
Bowers.
is,
I would add one more thing. I totally agree with you. Convenience to the board or the district is probably one consideration. The other is the fiduciary responsibility, because it is not a free meeting, and it does cost money to staff and support these things. And so that is another consideration when deciding if moving the meeting to 5:30 is helpful so people can have time to travel home. I think that we could definitely accommodate that.
so we have the resolution before us on these meeting dates and times and the venue, quite frankly. Are we ready to make a motion of compromise beyond the current resolution as it stands?
I would like to make that motion, if possible. Number one, I make the motion to make sure that we have not only virtual attendance possibilities, but also in person to accommodate anybody that does not have internet or does not very good well versed on a computer. We do have that already. I would also make the motion in that same regard to change the finance meeting time to the Tuesday before our general meeting, which would be the fourth week,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. I think that's what we discussed.
Yeah, that would fall in line.
Fourth
That would
week.
fall in line
Correct.
anyways, I believe.
And then the last part of that is the meeting time. I'd ask to have a vote. I don't know if we have to do these separately or we put it all in together to have the meeting time change from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
I heard Renee
Do I have a second
say
on that?
I think we need more discussion, but thank you, David, for spelling all of those out.
Mhm.
I heard Renee say that 5:30 would be doable for her staff. Is 5:30 a doable compromise?
Anything later, I just don't know when people get back. I know
Yeah.
my wife, when she comes from Kirkland on a heavy day like today, she's not home yet. If she wanted to attend,
Mhm.
and busy people that have children too, they have to, I think Mark kind of hit the nail on the head about fixing dinner and making sure that the homework was done. And these are like top priorities with what's working families. I don't believe it would be a hindrance for elderly because their time is a little bit more free unless they have some kind of medical schedule. But the majority of the folks that live here are working families, so we have to take that into consideration. I understand what the costs are to the district, but I think if they had to work late one day, they could take the morning off or something the next day or something to make sure that they're compensated accordingly. We don't want people overworking themselves or working here till the graveyard shift. And the one thing I have really admired about our meetings in the last 2 years is they go fairly quick. And it's very prepared, and we know what we're doing.
Mhm.
I'm sorry that I brought all of this up because it has slowed us down, and it is kind of a big thing for me. I've been thinking about it for quite some time, and I didn't know where to bring it in. And I think today would be the day that I wanted to bring that in to try and get things changed. So,
Thank you,
6
Dave.
o'clock. So anyway,
Thank you.
I always
Commissioner Herron?
appreciate that the staff comes to our board business meeting.
Mm-hmm.
However, I want to know, is this mandatory? Do they have to work overtime? I know the number of attendees are mostly our staff. We don't see too many public constituents that is in our list of participants. So I really appreciate that staff comes and join our
They-
board, but can
They're
they do
doing
it?
it
And
mostly
is this
voluntarily of their
mandatory?
own
So then they
time.
don't have to
Yes.
work overtime. So it's not gonna cost us that much money if they work overtime, if it's voluntary. So that's my point here. So
Part of
if
it
they're
is-
looking
yeah.
at the number of hours that they have to work longer, and if it's not mandatory and it's not gonna cost us, because in the past, the staff would join, sporadically. It's not always that they are participating in our board business meeting, but they can do it on their own. They can do the teams at
They
home,
choose to.
right?
There
So,
certainly has been an increased number of, which is
right,
great, as you
the
said.
increased
to have
number
them
mostly
in.
of our
Yep.
staff, but not so much in our public domain. So anyway,
Okay,
that's my point.
so it looks like virtual. Fourth day of they've made a comment about the finance and the board meeting on the fourth Thursday, finance on the fourth Tuesday, if I heard that correctly. And then the time, are we at a point where we have a second? Dave has made a motion for the 6 p.m. Are we at a point where someone is ready to make a second for the 6 p.m.?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on that?
Mr. Chairman, if I might then procedurally, just let me bring to your attention a couple things. One is Commissioner Spikers identified that he wants to, in essence, have a physical location for the public to attend. That is already required statutorily. You must, in a
Which we have.
hybrid meeting, already provide for that. So he can make that as part of his motion, of course, but I'm just going to let you know that that is already required, and you've been complying with that since COVID. The second part of the motion was, I believe, and you want to be clear, it'll be occurring on the fourth Thursday. And then the third part of that motion, which has been moved and seconded now, which would be an amendment you would vote on before the underlying motion, would be the time of 6 p.m. So before the body right now is a motion to amend the resolution. And the amendment is to, again, make sure there's a hybrid location, a 6 o'clock time, and the fourth Thursday, if that assists, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, I have no problem with January 28th being the board meeting, the fifth Thursday of the month.
Thursday.
So I don't have any problem with that. That's not an issue for me. The holidays and everything gets people a little bit behind anyway, so.
So then there would be a further clarification of Commissioner Spiker's amendment to the motion, and that it would be the fourth Thursday, except for the fifth Thursday occurring on January. It would also then, Commissioner Spikers, as provided for in the resolution, be adjusted in November and be adjusted in December because of the holidays.
And that's,
Yes.
just to clarify, that's January 29th is the Thursday.
Correct.
Not the
Okay,
28th.
sorry, January
It's all
29th.
good.
Yeah,
So
I-
I think that's good if we are alerted ahead of time. I think we are flexible with, if we have fifth week in a month, I think that is doable.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah, those altered dates because of holidays, fine with me. I don't think anybody has issue with that, but.
Right, so those altered dates again for the board would be no June meeting, the January 29, 2026, November 19, 2026, and December 17, 2026, which would not be the fourth Thursdays. So that is amendment that is before you. If there's not any further discussion, you could call for the question and take the vote at this time, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
thank you, Skip. Go ahead and call for the question with the motion as presented. Asking for the vote. All those in favor of the motion that has been amended and presented, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Let the record show that Commissioner Norris is not in attendance. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you
Moving
for
on.
allowing me to bring this up.
Just a quick meeting housekeeping here. You do have your last resolution, item D on there, but we did skip the patient story. And so as soon as we're done with this resolution, I just wanted to let the students know that we will get back to you. We have not forgotten about you, and we will loop back to our patient story.
Thank you, and I apologize for missing that earlier. So with the next item D, Resolution 724-1225, approving legal holidays for the all district personnel. Is there any, do I have a motion to approve that? As
I
presented.
assume it's the same as last year, or,
That is correct. There are no changes.
yeah, I don't have any problem. I'll make a motion. I know
Okay.
there's some discussion that needs to be made.
To
but-
follow, correct.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I'll second.
Okay, Commissioner Carter, I'll go ahead, seconded. I'll go ahead and call for any discussion. Commissioner Herron?
I said I
you-
second that. Yeah.
No, I know. Commissioner Carter was ahead of you on that one.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Did you have any discussion? Is there any discussion on the motion that's been
I'm
made? and
looking for
seconded?
the copy of the holidays and I don't have it. I think I don't know. I only have the special board commissioners meeting, so I can look at all the dates.
Mhm. I don't believe there
Uh-oh.
was any changes from the current year. Is that correct, Renee?
That is correct.
Okay. No
In that
changes.
case, okay, well,
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. And go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion that's been made and seconded, Resolution 724-1225, please signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed? And abstaining, let the record show that Commissioner Norris is not in attendance. Thank you very much. Renee, you have the floor for our patient story.
Thank you so much. We have a treat in store for you tonight. CNE Trisha Ralston is going to share with us a little bit of, I don't want to give it away, Trish, but I do want to say we do have students in the house tonight and they are going to be telling their patient story, but you guys all just got an education in a public board meeting. So thank you for being patient and waiting. And I hope that the commissioners enjoy your story. So Trisha, go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So thank you for your patience. We do have some very special guests tonight. First of all, Roberta Helly, who's the Dean of the School of Nursing at PLU. We have Dan Klein,
Welcome.
who's the Associate Professor. Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Dan Klein, Associate Professor and Associate Dean of the Undergraduate Program at PLU, and Colin Malloy, who is a PLU nursing student. Pretty early on in my first couple of months, I was rounding and met Dan in the ED because he is also one of our ED nurses. And we started talking about students and the importance of educating up and coming nursing professionals. And that became a great collaboration and led to me meeting with Rachel Weber, our educator, and it was an amazing experience.
You're breaking up.
Oh, I am?
Just a little, Trish. You are.
Oh, man.
Logistical.
Okay. You're good for a second. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm so sorry. And so that led to a great partnership of having our PLU students come and spend 10 weeks on not only our med flora, but our ED, endoscopy, wound, and I'm at risk of breaking up again. So with that, I would love to just hand it over to Dan. And I really just want to thank them all for their partnership and all the students. It was the amount of professionalism and just great up and coming nurse professionals was amazing to see. And I think every time we had a meeting with them, it was, oh, everybody walked away just feeling so good about what has started there. So go ahead, Dan.
Great. Well, thank you, Tricia, for the introduction, and really nice to meet everyone here. Just a real quick story. I have worked at Snoqualmie for 3 or 4 years now in the ER. I'm currently per diem, and I per diem in the ER. I've been an ER nurse for about 24 years now, but my primary job is I'm the Associate Dean of Undergraduate Programs at PLU School of Nursing. And from my time at Snoqualmie, I think it's just an absolutely fantastic organization. The culture, the people, the teamwork, the support. And I've always kind of thought like it would be nice to see students at Snoqualmie. And I know we really don't have very much of a student presence there. When I initially met Trish, we started this conversation last spring and it snowballed and I think also turned into a great relationship and partnership this past semester, and we'll continue it moving forward. So I just want to say thank you to Tricia and the Snoqualmie team, including Heather Paris, Rachel Weber, Abby Whalen, Julie Mincy, and others who helped with the process, and particularly all the nurses in the ER, endoscopy, wound, med surg floor. The experience was great. Our students, most of our students go to larger, more urban hospitals, Multicare, St. Joe's. And when I first approached this issue, I had presented it to students as an opportunity to go do clinical at a small rural hospital. And surprisingly, all the students that came, and there were 5 of them this past semester, they all volunteered and wanted to come. They were all excited to go to what I had described as a unique culture, unique environment, where we deliver high quality care to a community that really needs it. And that the hospital is really an integral part of the Snoqualmie community. And so I was part-time clinical faculty there with the students, along with another clinical faculty. And the experience was extremely positive for the students. They had nothing but good things to say. They felt respected by the nurses. They had great interactions with the patients, and they really were impressed by the quality of care that was being delivered at the small hospital. They didn't know what quite to expect, given that it's a small critical access hospital in Snoqualmie, and they walked away with a really different view of the kind of care and quality that we provide at Snoqualmie. And so I just want to say thank you to all of you and for the system you've built. And we're looking forward to continuing in the spring semester with students again. A couple people that joined, Dean Roberta Haley. I think she may want to say a word or two and kind of putting you on the spot there, Roberta. And then Colin is one of our BSN students. So he's a traditional Bachelor of Science in Nursing student who did his clinical experience there. And he just wanted to say a few words and share his story with all of you. So I'll turn it over to Roberta if she wants to say a few things, and then Colin, it'll be up on you. So Roberta, did you want to say anything?
Thank you so much. I just wanted to say how grateful we are for this partnership and how excited we are about the future of growing this in whatever ways adds value to your organization. And I appreciated being on the call today. So I had some names and faces, and just thank you so much.
Thank you. Absolutely.
And Colin,
Yeah.
now feel free to
Hi,
share your
everybody.
story.
Thanks. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for the time having me here with you. I learned a lot already. But I learned a lot from Snoqualmie Valley. Kind of being a member of that community. Been out past that hospital a number of times, up and down 18. I live in Maple Valley, but go hiking out there. I have friends out there. I worked at Salish Lodge. So seeing the hospital, its development over the years, it was always like a beacon of Snoqualmie. Like you knew you got to Snoqualmie. So it was always kind of a nice site. And so I kind of around it for a long time. And when this opportunity came up, I jumped at it because I've heard so many good stories. I've seen it developing, and I wanted to get a new experience that I wasn't going to get at other places. And I was pleasantly surprised. And I just at the culture there, and I know Daniel had kind of mentioned and took some of my talking points away, but definitely gonna continue on that with some of the quality and the culture there that kind of set Snoqualmie Valley apart and definitely made an impression on myself as well as my other colleagues and students there. Just the kind of the warm welcoming from top down. I've never seen administration and managers come shake my hand and say and ask me what I needed to help the educational experience and help my time there. So that was just kind of took by surprise. But even to the nurses, there's kind of a saying that nurses eat their young. It's a tough world, but they made it so welcoming and helped foster our education to where it was okay to ask questions. It was okay to learn and try new things, and especially being newer to the medical world. That's knowing something that stood out that helped me kind of get my bearings. So I appreciated that. That was by far something that stood out. And you can tell it translated to the patients, the patient care, the quality of care. Everybody was, had a great balance of professionalism, but having like lighthearted banter and spirit, where it made it easy not to forget about the things that they were helping with and working on, the diseases and illness, but to kind of make a different kind of a care as far as the communication in the environment. So as I appreciated that for sure, and something that I want to take away from my time there, develop my personal growth and my nursing identity. I still have a lot to learn. All the medicines, all the diagnoses. I still have plenty of time to learn and plenty of things to learn. But I want to take away from what I did learn there was how to treat clients, how to treat your coworkers. And that's something that really stood out that I want to take away from there. Among the many other things I learned, I did learn about the educational pieces. But I just want to like, you all should be very proud of that hospital and the people you have there. The hiring practices and the set of standards. Whoever did that, kudos to you. but yeah, so the culture there, and one of the learning things besides the culture was how it aligned with what we were actually learning at PLU. In the sim labs, in the classroom, and in some of our kind of clinical settings at the school, you didn't know if it was going to translate to real world. There's so many things that could happen, so many things that go on. It was surprising at how like one for one it really was. The things we were learning at PLU, we were almost initially like hands-on at the hospital, and getting prepared for those medications, prepared for the patients and their background, whether it was an NG tube or wound care. It was nice to see that everything was actually like coming together, and it started to make sense. I could read a book a million times and not take anything away, but actually having my hands doing things and learning in person, that really stuck with me and helps me learn. So it was nice to see the connection there really made sense. And so we weren't learning things that didn't make sense. We weren't, being thrown into situations we didn't understand. And if there was something we didn't know, they were really patient with us, showing us and shadowing. And again, not everybody has that experience, from what my cohort and colleagues have told me. So it was nice. It was nice to have that kind of experience and learning environment. So I mean, I'll kind of wrap this up because I know everybody else has some things to say, but I definitely will look kind of back at Snoqualmie Valley as kind of like a foundational piece of my education, and kind of look back with some good fond memories of things I learned and mistakes I made, but that's how you learn, and some of the fun environments there. So I hope future students have a great time there. I hope this continues and expands, and then hopefully one day I will see Snoqualmie Valley again, and be a member of their community.
Great. Thank you very much, Colin. Any questions or comments from any members of the board or staff?
We just really appreciate having the students. As you can see, they bring so much passion and energy, and it's great for our staff to get to be mentors and to invite them in. And so it gives us energy too. So thank you, Colin, for joining us, and thank you to the work with PLU for making this possible. We hope you come back and work with us someday soon.
I would hope so as well.
Yeah.
I have history with PLU and the great nursing program, the great institution that is, in fact, and Colin, to have you share that information and practical application is really special to me. And I have a daughter that's an RN, and I'm a retired firefighter EMT, and so it's meaningful to me. So thank you all, and the partnership, and it's a real honor to have this relationship that we have.
Thank you, everyone, if you can hear me.
You betcha.
Thank you, Trish.
We can.
Good
Thank
job,
you.
Trish. Yep. Okay, let me see here. I believe that we are on the agenda at the special time of swearing in with Mr. Hauser,
We are, and
Mr. Carter, and our new Mark Bowers, effective January 1.
we are, and I am going to do a little bit of virtual magic, and we are going to spotlight Mr. Hauser, and Commissioner Carter will do her first, so that we can have a really nice, professional video of you guys getting sworn in. So Skip, Commissioner Carter is up first.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, Board Commissioners, and public, it's my honor and privilege to then give the oath of office to Jen Carter, Commissioner for Public Hospital District Number 4, position number 4. I have been advised and provided the declaration from the King County Department of Elections and their director identifying that Jen Carter has received 9,077 votes, which is 98.75% of those votes cast. There was someone called write-in who got 115 votes. With that, you have been elected by the citizens of your hospital district, and I would ask you to please raise your right hand. I'll swear you in. I, Jen Carter,
I, Jen Carter,
having been duly elected
having been duly elected
to the Commissioner for Public Hospital District Number 4 position 4,
to the Commissioner for Public Hospital District Number 4, Position 4,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Washington
and the Constitution of the State of Washington
and all local ordinances,
and all local ordinances,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially perform and discharge the duties
and impartially perform and discharge the duties
of the Office of Public Hospital District Number 4,
of the Office of Public Hospital District Number 4,
Commissioner Position Number 4,
Commissioner Position Number 4,
according to the law and the best of my ability.
according to the law and the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Commissioner Carter, on your reelection.
Thank you, Mr. Hauser. And,
Congratulations.
thank you to all the voters in the Valley.
Very good. Thank you. And Commissioner to be Mark Bowers.
And again, Mr. Chairman and commissioners and members of the public and others in attendance, it is again my privilege and honor to take the oath of office with Mark L. Bowers. I have been provided by the King County Department of Elections and their director a certification of that election. That election identifies that Mark L. Bowers has received 7,365 votes, which was 58.84% of those voting. He's therefore been elected and identified by the auditor's office as the victor. And with that, then, Mr. Bowers, if you please raise your right hand, I'll swear you in. I, Mark L. Bowers, having been duly elected to the office
I, Mark Bowers, having been duly elected to the office
of Commissioner for Public Hospital District Number 4, Position Number 2,
of the office, Hospital District 4, Commissioner Number 2,
I do hereby solemnly swear
I do hereby solemnly swear
or affirm
and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and the laws of the State of Washington
and the Constitution and the state laws of the state of Washington
and all local ordinances,
and all local ordinances,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the Office of Public Hospital District Number 4,
of the office of Hospital District Number 4,
Commissioner Position Number 2,
Commissioner Position Number 2,
according to the law
according to the law
and the best of my ability.
and the best of my ability.
Commissioner-elect, Commissioner Bowers, congratulations on your election. I look forward to having you serve on the board.
Thank you, sir. I'd also like to congratulate Commissioner Carter. I think you probably had the biggest victory in the entire state of Washington. That's amazing.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowers. Welcome to the board.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowers and Commissioner Carter. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay. Now we move on to Commissioner business. And with that, the item here is Resolution 7. Is that intended to be XX that I'm seeing, or is there actual? Thank you, Patrick. I see your head. 7XX-1225, approving the 2015 refinance.
Actually, that is the draft agenda.
Oh, sorry,
Kevin's.
that's the film. I thought we were
Yeah.
talking about the XX in the
That's why.
KPIs for next year.
Thank you very
So
much. That's why
sorry
I
about
questioned
that.
it. Yeah, no, you're good.
So it's
Is there a
resolution-
number?
Yes, 725-1225, approving the 2015 LTGO refunding bond for 2025. Patrick wants this one to be correct, I'm sure.
Absolutely, for 2025. Let's see if I say this correctly now. So the first item up is Resolution 725-1225, approving the 2015 LTGO for 2025 refinance.
That's
that
correct.
correct?
And yes, and we do have it up on the screen right now. And this was
Okay,
included in your packet.
and is this something Skip, is this something that you want me to read to have it on the record here?
Yeah, I think,
Oh,
yeah.
it's in the packet. There's no need to read it. This
I
is
don't know.
the resolution that was provided to the finance committee, and it was also the resolution that went out in packets.
I
It
think
just
for the
was waiting
sake,
for its number. It's
I think for
about
the sake of the
50
public,
pages
it should be
long.
read.
It's about 50 pages long.
Oh, no, no, this is the top one though. I think you don't have to read the whole thing. Just the main frame.
I don't have a problem with that. A resolution of the Commission of the Public Hospital District Number 4, King County, Washington, relating to contracting indebtedness, providing for the issuance, sale, and delivery of a limited tax general obligation refunding bond in the aggregate principal amount of $23,915,000 to provide funds to pay the costs of refunding certain limited tax general obligation bonds of the district to achieve a debt service savings and the administrative costs of such refunding and the costs of issuance and sale of such bond, fixing certain terms and covenants of the bond, appointing the district's chief executive officer and chief financial officer to enter into a bond purchase agreement for the sale of the bond to customers, Commercial Finance LLC, and providing for other related matters. With that, thank you. With that, I'll go ahead and call for a motion to approve Resolution 725-1225, approving the 2015 LTGO 2050 refinance bond.
I make the motion to approve this resolution, 725-1225. I've
Thank you.
got several reasons, we can discuss them.
To follow. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and ask for any future additional discussion. Mr. Spikers.
Thank you. 3 great points about this. It's going to save us about $270,000, I think, give or take, I think.
A year.
It will also, yeah, thank you. And then it will also keep us off the bond covenant prescription for holding us back, for allowing us more room if we needed it in the future to spend money. So the third point is it does not extend this obligation, the original obligation, beyond the original year. This obligation originated and ends in 2038, and so would this bond. So we would be paying it off at the same time, saving money and giving us more room as far as bond covenants. Those are my 3 points.
Thank you. In addition to that, I would add that there's a callable feature on this at 5 years. It's substantial savings to the district. At different times in my long tenure as a commissioner, we refer to these as almost housekeeping items. When we have an opportunity to save the district a lot of money and improve the position, we take advantage of it. And thanks so much for Keith Clevin and the entire team worked so hard to get this put together for us and keeping us abreast of best opportunities. So with that, I'm definitely in favor of this item. So any further discussion on this
What's the
before I call
interest
for the
rate?
vote?
Do we have any interest rate?
Yeah, the
that we
interest rate, Commissioner Herron, is 4.125%. So right now it's currently at 5%. So we're saving about 0.875% interest on this as well. And as Commissioner Spiker said, that's about $270,000 a year, $271,000 over the life of that bond. Plus, it is also freeing up $1.9 million that's currently in reserve for that too. So it has a net present value of almost 5%, which when you're looking to refinance, anything above 3 is really good to have for refinancing. So this is almost 5% net present value savings over the life of the bond. I would also add in there as well, it also gives the district the opportunity, should it choose to refund early. It's callable again in 5 years if they want to either refund or pay that debt off if we're able to do that based on what cash we have. So it is a very favorable terms that we're getting from Customers Bank. They've been a great partner to work with, and I think this is a slam dunk as any can be when it comes to refinancing.
Thank you, Patrick. With
Mhm.
that, I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion that's been made and seconded, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right?
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, abstaining none. Let the record show that Commissioner Norris is not in attendance. Thank you. Moving on to the next item, 2026 KPI introduction. Renee.
All right, Jen's going to pull these up for us. This is just an introduction for you. We are not voting on these. This is an opportunity to give feedback. We did present these KPIs to the Finance Committee, and our intention is for the board to approve these at the January meeting. So we are just giving you some extra looks at it. So after feedback from the Finance Committee, where we landed on the KPIs for next year's strategic plan will be to weight all 5 of the KPIs equally. So each one will carry 1/5 of the weight of the success rate of the strategic plan. The first being to achieve the 2026 budget or better. There is quite a bit of discussion about what this metric should be, considering that we have the revenue bonds that we've issued, and we know the hub is going to be going online, and we are making a great investment in our community. So it's a very difficult, but I think a smart decision to say we need to achieve our budget. It's part of our feasibility plan and our business plan. So we are proposing that as the financial stewardship KPI. And I'll stop for questions before I move on to the next one, if there are any or any feedback.
I know there was a lot of discussion on this in the finance meeting, and I just think this is a real partnership and a statement of support that I think we as a board really present to the entire team, everybody working on the executive team and in the entire hospital. It's a great accomplishment to put these goals and objectives in front of you, and then have a reward that's financially tangible to our people that get all the work done. It's a way to say thank you.
And I appreciate that Commissioner Spikers was very passionate about, in the years past, we've had a financial trigger for this, and he was very passionate about saying, I think, given the year ahead, that we should make them all equal and not have that trigger. So I don't know, Commissioner Spikers, if you'd like to speak to that.
Yeah, that would be great. We're probably not going to break even next year. And I would like to always, as a public entity, try to strive to break even when it's not. But it's not fair to all the employees who have met the other KPI, the other 4 parameters. And so I think maybe we still keep that budget at break even or close to it, and not have that trigger point for the remainder of the 4 KPI points. So certainly those are just as important, I think, in reality, as when we give our services to our patients, and we're at 100%, we'll recommend you 100%. I mean, we're at 95% most of the time, which is unheard of. And that should be rewarded. So the trigger point got to be closer to or there should be no trigger point, but we should always try to achieve balanced budget every year. And just because we're not going to be at the balanced budget, I think we should be able to have those other 4 KPIs. And I'm reiterating this again, but I think I got my point across. I would like to see these 4 trigger points being awarded as bonus material for the staff.
Thank you, Commissioner Spikers. We appreciate that. It definitely is a year of investment, and our budget speaks to that clearly. The second proposed KPI that we have here under foundational elements, this is really important. we have the hub opening, which is very dependent on being staffed with medical staff, physicians, and advanced practice providers. And so our foundational element that we are choosing, because the success of the hub will depend on it, is to successfully recruit 5 additional providers. And this is a team effort. This isn't just one person on the team doing this, and it's not just the executive team either. The medical staff help us recruit, they help make recommendations, they help interview. And so this is definitely something that I think everybody can play a role in. And even I think, gosh, HR, I mean, just everybody has a piece of this. As you heard from our students earlier, they feel that culture when they come to the organization, and it helps us with these recruitments. So that is what we're proposing for the foundational elements. Health system of choice. This is coming from our quality team. They are bumping up the expectation just a little bit here. And I had a little faint at heart when they recommended 90% or above across the entire organization. But we really believe in the quality of the customer service and the organization and how we are connecting with our community. And so we believe in that. 90% is amazing, because this is basically saying 90% of our people that come here say, I would recommend any of my family or my friends to come to your facility as well. Under our team, this is the one that's about our staff. We are going to continue to look at the average turnover rate. It was 32% last year. We're going to move it to 31. You'll see later that we've been on a really good trend with this. This one's a little bit tricky. It does make me nervous. It's a little bit of a stretch. We anticipate hiring almost 100 staff next year. And so that means we have to get them all right. And we can't have people that leave in their first 90 days. We need to make sure that they come on board and they stay and they enjoy working with us. So this one, we like to continue to monitor the culture of our team and our ability to select people that are a good fit for us. And lastly, under community health needs, we are, again, looking at a volume metric here, because this is the number of people that we are touching in the community, something Commissioner Spikers always talks about, how many people are using us, how many people come to us, instead of how many people are out migrating. So we're going to look at the annual number of outpatient visits across the district. We'd like to increase that by 1%. We had a lot of volume this year, and there are some places that do not have room to grow, and growing that by even 1% may be challenging. The reason it says X to Y and why we will finalize these in January is we want to base this on actual 2025 data. So we need to close out December, get actual volume numbers for that, and then we will present a 1% increase for the recommendation for 2026.
Can I just add to that? Because I made the mistake of thinking we're going to have all these providers working in 2026. That's not going to be correct.
No.
They're going to be working. We're not even be open until the end of the year, maybe in 2026. So the 1% is definitely going to be a challenge, because we're not going to have a whole lot more time periods or patient days available.
Yeah, really, it's going to be third and fourth quarter.
So probably fourth quarter
and beyond. Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, thank you for that clarification, Commissioner Spikers. That is absolutely true. We are full. We don't have room to bring on new providers until the hub opens, which at this point, temporary occupancy is planned in October or November. So well into fourth quarter. We don't expect those practices to ramp until the end of Q1 if we open on time. So we don't get to add a whole bunch of new providers and get a bunch of new volume. We'll look to 2027 for that metric. Any questions about this or feedback? Again, we're not voting on these tonight. I just want to make sure that they're socialized with you, and we will vote on these in January.
Meanwhile,
Renee, I'm looking at the glass as a little bit more half full, because we have new providers that don't have their schedules full yet. So the numbers are going to skyrocket, in my view.
That is the hope.
Call me Pollyanna.
I hope so.
I like it, Mark.
How do we make it cost efficiency when we have so many providers but no schedules?
Emma, can you clarify your question for me?
How do we have many providers right now,
Mhm.
right? And we're full of providers, but we're not full in terms of patients or clients. So how do we make it cost effective for us? What measurements for those providers that we have right now brings into the organization?
Yeah, great question. So we have new providers that just started with us. Dr. Rappaport, for example, Dr. Young is fairly new. And they are specialists. We also have Dr. Cooper. We've got quite a few new providers that have started, and it takes time to build their practices. We know this, and it is an upfront investment in these providers as they come on board. So we anticipate, as Mark clearly indicated, we anticipate their practices gaining patients over the next year and contributing to that volume metric for us. So it is definitely every organization, no matter what, you know that you have to bring those providers on and get their schedules full, and it does take some time. As you know, a couple months ago, I mentioned that we had hired Kelly Bender, who is our outreach specialist. She actually takes these physicians out into the community and meets other physicians to help gain referrals and help their practices get full. I know that not everybody's connected to social media, but if you are seeing a lot of advertisements and a lot of information going out about these new providers that will also help get their schedules get full. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, but is there a goal, a performance review goal, to see whether they are meeting that many referrals?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody in the organization has performance goals and metrics, including our providers. They do have contracts, and they have a commitment to the organization for the number of visits that they will eventually see when they are up to full speed.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Carter, it looks like you had some feedback as well.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions. Do we have a definition for providers? Who do we consider a provider?
That is a fabulous question. We intended that to be physician or advanced practice provider, a nurse practitioner or PA. Or it could also be DO, ND, so a practicing clinician.
Okay. And do we know anything about expected population growth or shrink in the Valley in the next year?
We do, and that is an awesome segue to one of the other things in my CEO report that I was going to share with you. In January, we will be presenting our community health news assessment, and it does have all those forecasts for population growth and demographics and all those other lovely things that we need to be considering with our strategic plan. So yes, at this point, Snoqualmie is still a growing community.
Great question, Jen. Thank you.
Well, one last one. I would also like to throw my support behind the elimination of the trigger this year. I think that's great. Commissioner Spikers, thank you for presenting that and giving us the explanation why, because I completely back you up and agree with you on that. But do we have a budget line item then that fully funds the bonus pool for folks?
Yes.
Make sure they,
Yes. There was a little bit of debate, a little bit of behind the scenes on whether or not there should be a financial trigger or not a trigger, but a financial metric.
Mhm.
And Patrick and I were absolutely adamant. We did include the payout of the strategic plan incentive plan within our budget. So as long as we achieve that budget, it will fund itself.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Thank you, team. I can see a ton of work went into it. Well done.
Great. Thank
Yep.
you. Okay, I don't want to spend more time. We're already over time, so you guys have seen these, and we will bring them back for a vote in January for you.
Thank you, Renee.
Yep.
Let's move on to the CEO report.
Okay, we skipped over strategic plan, but it's a quickie. I can do it as on the fly here. This is not a big remodel year for the strategic plan. This year is really just a light touch as far as the overall commissioner level goals and objectives. There's a lot of work being done on the tactic level and the staff level, and we are creating a secondary, I would say, like work plan, strategic plan for the hub in addition to support this. So we will be bringing that in January as well, so it'll align with those KPIs for you, but I just wanted to speak to it and let you know that you will be seeing it for approval in January. And there won't be a lot of changes, so there shouldn't be any surprises. Okay, CEO report. There's a lot of really good stuff. I am going to speak fast. If you want to have me pause and slow down, just raise your hand because I really want to move through it. First of all and foremost, it's not very often in your career that you get to stand up the hospital incident command system. We train for this, we are educated on how to do this, and we practice this, but it's not very often that you actually get to do it and have it be real and have it be meaningful. Our team, I want you to know, did a fantastic job of standing up the HICS system, which means that we are in a crisis and our community is in crisis, and we either have an external or internal disaster that we are dealing with. We worked very closely with both the cities of Snoqualmie and the cities of North Bend, and our staff to make sure that the hospital was staffed and that our community was cared for. We had staff that were flooded out of their homes. We had staff sleeping on air mattresses in our conference room. We had staff staying at hotels. We had staff that couldn't get to work at all and were stranded on islands and unable to be here. So a huge shout out to the effort and the camaraderie and the support that above and beyond efforts, people worked extra shifts, people stayed longer, people we couldn't get to North Bend at one point, and one of our staff members and her brother went and got sandbags and sandbagged the clinic in North Bend because the water was rising and threatening to go into side of our brand new clinic. And so it just, there's so many wonderful stories of how the staff came together to support the flooding and power outages and other things that have been happening around our community. We aren't fully recovered yet. Our team is tired, to be honest. Last week was a very exhausting week, but they did a fabulous job, and we're starting to clean up and support our communities. Hopefully the rains will subside and those rivers will go down, but shout out to the team. Everybody did a fabulous job. So and Kevin, thank you for your call and checking on us. I probably should have thought to call you or the board, but just honestly, when you're in the thick of it, the most important thing in front of you is taking care of the community. We also did have that landslide and other road closures. 18 was closed, 202 was closed, I-90 was closed. That means people can't get to work. That also means travelers are stranded. We opened up our lobby and our hospital to stranded travelers. Chef Blake did a special meal, and for one day we fed any community members or staff members that needed to be fed free of charge to help them get through the storm and the incident. So it was.
You're welcome, Renee. That was I was in the middle of my own set of emergencies with professionally, and couldn't help but think about you and the team. And is there anything that we can do to help?
Yeah, everybody asked, and at the moment they're like, unless you could work the ED, that was as a physician, that was one of our biggest needs, or the floor as a nurse. Usually it's those highly skilled clinicians that become a commodity that are really hard to replace, that are the most challenging. So any of us can help clean and sweep floors and do whatnot, but replacing those healthcare workers is really, really challenging. So yeah, so shout out to everybody for the great work on that. The foundation has been extremely busy. Steve Wright's doing a wonderful job. He and the foundation and I guess the hospital have received our first endowment gift. This is a really big deal. This individual has made the first of 4 payments of $25,000 to our foundation. This will create, when it reaches $100,000 of donation, it will create an endowment fund that will be used to support nurse education and nursing best practice. This is because a patient who actually lives outside of our immediate community came here as a patient and had such wonderful care from our nurses and our staff that she felt very, very passionate about continuing to support that. She is also a nurse educator and professor, and was blown away at how great Snoqualmie was, and she wanted to make sure that that legacy continued. So it's been wonderful to have that donor. When we're ready and she's ready for the announcement, we will share with you more about her and her background.
That's great.
It is, and she's excited to help us because it's the first endowment. It's something that we can model for other people that might be interested, and she's hoping that it will encourage other community members to do the same. So congratulations to our nursing staff for that gift. I mentioned earlier, we have Dr. Yoshida, our hand surgeon, and Dr. Rappaport, our general surgeon, have started. They are fabulous providers, just lovely gentlemen. We have been traipsing them around the community. We've been doing social media. We've been getting them busy, and they are starting to see patients, and we're very, very excited about that. Thank you to everyone who supported the North Bend grand opening. The North Bend community has come out in full force in support of this. Again, we tell this story, Dr. Post Escalone. She was very worried. We had to guarantee her salary for her to move from Snoqualmie to North Bend because she was worried that she would not have as many patients. She has seen a minimum of 13 patients a day and is very busy. We've also got our pediatrician who is going out and seeing patients out there, and our specialists are also going to be visiting there as well. So great job to everybody. North Bend Clinic has been just wonderfully received by the community and appreciated. In imaging, a shout out. Thank you to the commissioners again for your support in getting our mammo up and going. We have increased our screening rates from 44% to 60% because of our having a mammo on site. That's a huge amount of impact in our community, and we are very, very proud to say that even with just a short amount of time that mammo has been here, it has made a great difference in our women in our community getting their screening mammos done. So shout out to our imaging team and the support we've had to get that done. We switched over to a brand new payroll system and human resources module. So now payroll and HR are now connected. It may not sound like anything really sexy. It is very, very important tool that we need to do our jobs, but it took a ton of work. And so I just wanted to have a shout out to both Shauna and Julie in finance and HR for their leadership and the hours and hours of behind the scenes work that they did to make this happen in addition to their regular day jobs. So and everybody got paid. We've now completed one payroll. Everybody got their paychecks, and we're about to finish our second payroll this week. So it's been going really well.
Hey, Renee, when you move your paper agenda, it's scraping up against the mic pretty loudly.
Sorry, I need to be electronic. Yes. Yes, sorry about that. Thank you for letting me know. A shout out to our construction partners, GLY and Malum. They came out and participated with our gingerbread competition. And so if you get a chance to stop in and see the gingerbread builds, they are amazing. And all of our staff really enjoy doing that. And there are some very talented folks that do more than healthcare, I'll tell you. There's definitely some gingerbread happenings going on. Lots of bold recognition, our Daisy Award in the report this week. The hub update for you is we are on schedule and on budget. I know you love to hear that. But the most exciting part is that today our crane that is out there started doing the first of its heavy lifting, and it's lifting steel beams off of the trucks. There were lots of trucks coming in today. They're pulling the steel beams off. Those were getting put down in the laydown area. And Monday morning, you are going to start to see the building go skyward. So our steel is coming Monday, and that'll be a very, very exciting milestone for our hub project. In January, the steel will be completed, and we will be having a beam signing ceremony. So we have the last beam is painted white. It is undercover outside the ED, and Nicole is putting together a community event for every staff and community commissioners to come out and sign that beam, and your name will forever be inscribed on the last beam that goes up into the hub. So please join us for that. More information coming as soon as we have we have to get a little bit closer to know exactly what day it is, with weather and everything. You can't always fly metal and whatnot in the inclement weather. So working on that. Yeah, the everything with the hub is going really well so far. Great partners, and Dick has been doing a job that only Dick can do. And we are mentioned to the finance committee. We had about 5 alternates in this project that, because we were concerned about budget constraints, that we have now released for bids and for design. And that means all of those 5 alternates, including the 2 ORs, and the outdoor entertainment space by the restaurant, the patio space, all of those are getting bid, and those bids come back within budget. We should be able to do all 5 of those alternates. So that is really good news. Couple big reasons those are happening are because we are receiving, right now we've confirmed about $5.1 million in different sources of grants from different places. That is helping relieve some of our budget pressure. And then we also had good news from our report from the city of Snoqualmie, and that we only need to add an extra well to the sewer pump system. We don't have to do a lot of expensive reconstruction of pumps or sewer modifications to be able to get the extra capacity that the city will need to be able to support the hub. So that's been really good news. We did have a pretty big number there in contingency that would have taken away from these other projects. So now that we're having a better idea of the scope of that project, it's allowing us to release some of these alternates for a bid. Doesn't mean they'll get done, but it will allow us to get the design done and fit them into the construction schedule if they are affordable. So that is the short version. Oh, mark your calendars, save the date, February 18th. It will be the second annual BOLD Awards. And this was such a wonderful event last year. We will be recognizing our BOLD Award winners. We'd like to also recognize our 2 new commissioners that were newly elected, and our Employee of the Year, Provider of the Year. Would love to have the commissioners join us for this event. It's a lovely event. Chef Blake caters it. We do it in the hotel lobby. And it's a little bit on the fancier side, kind of like a cocktail party. And it was very well attended last year, and we would love to have you guys join us again. So we'll make sure that gets on your calendars.
What time? Is it early evening or afternoon?
Generally, it's right around 5 o'clock.
Okay.
We try to get our last patients out and be respectful of their time with their providers, but then also be respectful of our staff that want to get home to their families and children. So. Okay, Commissioner Haugle, unless there are any questions or things people want to know more about, that is all I have for you. There's plenty more in the report for you to noodle on if you'd like more.
Yeah, the report was absolutely fantastic and full of exciting progress. We can move on.
Although I do have a question
Sure.
about the construction, the hub project.
Yeah.
I understand that we are on budget, that we have secured $5.1 million. But that is for the project. What about for some of the other services? Are we looking at an overrun of $10 million?
I don't know anything about any overruns of $10 million. Can you be more specific about what you're referring to?
For example, I think the issue about the square footage on the restaurant. I think with that amount of per square footage would maybe, I think, will bring us over a $10 million budget.
No,
No.
actually,
No,
sorry, Patrick. I was going to say, Emma,
No?
remember last week or last month when we talked about the feasibility study and the bond, the 178 million in bonds that we sold?
Right.
All of that, everything, including the restaurant, everything was included in that feasibility study and that pro forma. All the assumptions for that were included and considered.
and in the
Okay,
GMP,
so
It's all been part of the bid process, Emma, and all of
Oh,
those
okay.
bids are in and complete. And so the only thing that would happen is if for some reason the district would have change orders that they wanted to do, and we are not doing that, and Dick's keeping the contractors on that. So we are on budget and we have the finances for it. It is there's no overruns. So
Okay. So Patrick,
Anybody
you
else?
really believe that the hospital can cover all the debts, bonds, to all the other expenses that we'll have? Do you believe that we can cover all of that?
yes.
Also, with all the money that we're getting or earmarked? Is that right?
Well, that helps with the $5 million that we have. The services that we will be billing for will cover that, right? So it's $15 million a year in debt service coverage that we need to meet. And so we've been averaging $5 million a year under the services that we've had of net profit over the past couple of years. So I don't see why that wouldn't be achievable with the conservative estimates that we had for volumes and levels to be able to easily meet those obligations. We also included in those revenues that we got, Emma, was a period of amount to cover the ramp up period that we have, right? We borrowed the money to be able to help make those payments while the building is ramping up to that too. So we wouldn't have sold it if we didn't believe that we could achieve it.
and the
Okay.
investors that invested in that bond, remember, we could have sold 2 of those bonds.
We could have.
So they
Yes.
reviewed everything as well. They saw those projections, Emma, and appreciate your concern about that. and
Yeah, so
questioning it, but-
you're very confident that we will not go over what we dealt with we have to deliver according to the specifications, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Emma, this is David. Hey, I invite you to come over the first part of January and we can talk more in depthly if you'd like. Because I
Okay.
have a little bit more information that might be helpful for you to understand
Yep,
some
And
things.
I've offered that as well.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
thank you, David. I will take
Alright.
that offer. I'll let you know what, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, Kevin, if we can pull up the strategic plan dashboard if there's no questions
Yep,
about the
let's do it.
CEO report. All right, Jen, we're finishing up here at the end of the year. Obviously, we're not quite through December, but we did get the North Bend Clinic open and we are just now meeting our community health outpatient volume visit target. So looks like we might have a little bit more to go, but we are essentially almost complete. We should, by the time November is added in there, we should have met that goal. Financial stewardship. This is a tough one. It looks really ugly, but it's an accounting error. I told Patrick he was free to beat his controller for this because we don't
It's
like
not an error.
accounting. Oh, sorry, not error. No. This is no, it is not an error. Like, thank you for that. This is an accounting principle. Because we did the bond issue and that is making it look pretty ugly, but that will correct itself as we move into kind of finishing up the finances. We also are working very diligently to try to be able to book the receivables for the appropriations and other grant monies that we've received. We're just working on confirmation of that. If we are able to do that, that will more than offset that number there, and it should look much better come December. We will bring approval of the strategic plan dashboard for 2025 to you post audit. The way the language of our program is, it requires audited financials. So we won't be approving this for another several months, but we want to make sure that you're getting a look at it now. We are continuing to do extremely well on health system of choice. I think our students spoke to this. My favorite comment was he said he learned how to treat his patients and his customers from being at SVH. So I think it speaks loud and clear to the high level of customer service that our patients experience here. And then I never thought this would happen. We are finally making great progress on our turnaround, on our turnover, and starting to see some numbers that are actually lower than what I'm seeing from my other colleagues in other districts. So November was at 23%. And we're starting to see a good decline here. One of the commissioners asked me, well, what are we going to do for next year? And what are we doing to prepare if we're going to be hiring all these staff members and we're going to commit to a 31% or less? We are doing a lot of revamp of our hiring practices, our onboarding practices, our interviewing practices, our BOLD awards, and our BOLD recognition is all part of that. And those things have been put into place earlier in the year, and they are finally starting to make a difference, and we're starting to see those numbers come down. So good work to everybody all around here.
Thank you and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Patrick, anything else you want to add? You'll go through it in the finance report. We'll get there when you get there.
Yeah, I mean, the one other thing I would add with our team portion of it is we're also always constantly looking at our benefit programs in regards to that too, and making sure that we are in market to help with that retention.
Okay, nothing to do with this tonight other than just make sure that you're aware of it and familiar with it, and we will bring it back again next month.
Thank you.
You're
Mr. Ritter.
welcome.
Yeah, so if we can take a look at the income statement there, bring that up. If not, I can share my screen too, needed. Can everybody see that? I know it's kind of small, sorry. Trying to zoom in here.
You can see it, Patrick.
Yeah, it looks
Great.
good, Patrick.
Great. Oops, did it blink off?
We can see it on this end. We're good.
Okay, great. So taking a look at the financials for year to date, you can see we've grossed over 100 million in gross patient revenues. That is a 12% increase over what we over budget. So strong revenues for the year. Taking a look at our deductions from revenue, we have our contractual allowances and our uncompensated care. That brings us to about 53 million in net patient revenue, which is 1% over what we budgeted. When we add in our grant revenues and taxes for operations, we have about $55 million in total operating yet revenue for the year. So strong revenues continue to reflect in the financial statements here. Any questions about revenue?
So the revenue that seems to remain consistent with in the last 54,250,000. I believe maybe 5-10 years ago, it wasn't. We were operating, our operating revenue was in the 50 million. So it seems like, is this the best that we can do? Stay on 50 million? Can we not go like 80 or 100 million? I don't know. That's why I'm questioning, because it looks so consistent with some of our projections and our actual budget.
I
operating
don't
revenue
quite
doesn't
understand
seem-
your question, Commissioner Herron.
I guess the operating revenue that we have total right now at the end of the year, this is what you said, right? It's at 54 million. Is that right? So that's our
It's
operating.
year to date through November, yes.
Okay. What I'm
It's-
saying is, it seems like we could do a lot better than just 54 million.
Okay. How could we do a lot better than 54
I don't know.
million?
That's my question.
You-
I was saying, you're the operation people. I don't know.
Commissioner Herron, you also mentioned 10 years ago that it, drawing a contrast, that it was approximately the same at around 54 million. Patrick, do you know
45,
what the
50,
volume
yeah.
was?
I know what
Roughly
it
about
was.
10
Well,
years
well,
ago?
Well, 10 years ago, 54 million was the gross charges, not
Yeah.
the net revenue.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
have
that was
over
good.
$100 million, if you see on the screen there, in gross charges. So 55 million will beat what we did last year in operating revenue. We are continuing that trend to increase. We've had an operating margin of 6 or 7% over the past few years, which a lot of hospitals have negative operating margins. So we are on track to continue to grow.
Okay.
I don't have a number that I could pull out of the hat for you, Commissioner
Yeah.
Herron. You know,
I can.
You
I
don't
know
have
give
what-
you
your
a
crystal
number.
ball. You didn't bring your crystal ball so you can see it. Just kidding. Go ahead. Okay.
We
I'll
had, I
trust
don't
that
think
you
we had
can-
over, I don't think we had over 31, maybe
No.
32 million in net revenues back in 2015. I'm almost pretty sure of that. And only because we moved into a new hospital. Maybe it might have been 33 million. But the year before we moved in, we were really up in the high 20s, right about 30 million.
Mhm.
And it grew, but not by much. I think
But in 20, yeah.
until
In
about 5 years
2019,
ago.
we were in 45 million. Because I
And
And now
have
we're at
that, I have that
54, which is
statistics.
$10
yeah.
million in actual revenue. So
Okay.
it's not gross revenue numbers. That's $10 million in net revenue. So that's after we have our charity care and our contractual adjustments and everything like that. So we've grown almost 2 million a year for a critical access hospital. That is very good numbers.
Yeah,
So
I think it was 42 million or 43
Yeah, I
million
think
in
that's what I was thinking.
2019.
Obviously, we have all that information as well.
Right
Okay.
here. It's right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know, 2019, I have those forms that I was looking at. Anyway, go ahead. Thank you.
Very
Great.
good.
I trust we can increase this even farther. Thank you.
we will. That's why we're building the hub. That definitely
All right.
will do that. The operating expenses were about 54 million for the month. So we had a net operating income of for the year of about 649,000. So again, that is a, you can see what we budgeted. We actually budgeted for a net operating loss for 2025, and we are well over that number that we have. We have a positive net operating income. I think this is really important for the public and commissioners to understand that means that we are generating revenue from the services that we do deliver, right? This is not being supplemented by any extra outside finances or taxes or anything like that. The services themselves, those direct expenses are being covered by the patient care that we are providing. So that tends to show that we do have good controls over the expenses, that the managers are operating at good levels for that. Do we want to continue to expand upon that? Of course we do. And we will continue to have those operators improve their operating efficiencies through 2026 and as we go into the hub, because that's what will ensure that we will meet those financial targets, those lofty financial targets that we've set. Taking a look at the non-operating revenue, of course, we have our interest expenses and our issuance costs. So we have a loss of about $3.5 million. Again, as Renee said, and as I mentioned last month, that's due to the fact that we have to book all of those issuance costs into the month when we receive the funds. Of course, the good news is that we receive all those funds. So that shows the cost of receiving those funds. So our net position for the year right now is a loss of about 2.8 million, but through October, that loss was over 3.1 million. So we had a very solid month of revenue in November of about a $200,000 bottom line, which is great for the district. We expect to see a good bottom line in December, and we are working through the final steps with the grants for the state with the Department of Commerce. We just finished what was called the securitization step, got those forms today. We will be able to submit that. And the next step after securitization is actually being able to submit for funding. So we should see those funds by the end of the year, and that will flip that net position from negative to positive. So, and definitely by the we should be able to flip to positive after, of course, audited financials are completed at the end of March. Any questions there?
You mentioned that there are no other, all of this revenue comes from direct services. Earlier you mentioned the bonds that will be used for our services. So I guess I'm a little bit confused. So.
Sure, Emma. That's on the balance sheet. So your funds are assets that you have, and those show up on the financial statements in the balance sheet. So the expense for those funds show up on the income statement, and that's where you see it on that line of $3,465,000. But the cash itself shows up on the balance sheet side. So we will go to the balance sheet next. That's a good segue into what we're doing here. So scrolling down, I'll scroll. Sorry if you get dizzy as I go do this. Sorry about that. Taking a look at assets, this is where you see the total cash and investments now.
Hey, Patrick,
yeah.
Quick clarification. It looks like we're looking at Jen's screen, so Jen's going to need to scroll down.
Okay. She booted me off of sharing, I see.
And if she doesn't move, oh, there she goes. Okay.
There she goes. Whoops, back up, Jen, sorry. So you can see the cash at the beginning of the year was $39 million. So 12/31/24. And now the cash as of the end of November is $150 million. And you can see our unrestricted cash and investments has actually gone up by $1 million as well. So that $1 million that we've generated in unrestricted cash and investments is actually cash that we've generated this year through operations. So not only did we borrow money for the hub investment, but the district itself generated $1 million in cash in funds to be able to through the services it provided. So again, that's a reflection of the fact that our operating income is positive.
Very good. Patrick, thank you. Emma, again, I would offer, David has offered to sit down and review some of this information with you, and I certainly would offer that as well. Hopefully
Okay.
that'll be beneficial to you.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for asking the questions. With that,
Good questions.
Yes,
absolutely. Patrick, please continue on.
Yeah, so total current assets for the year are $161,608. I would also say the other reason why we've generated that cash as well is our improvement in our accounts receivable days as well. We went from almost 60 days down to 46 days. So that's going to generate that change in cash that we've seen as well. So our total assets for the year, you can see, are 238 million versus 99 million for the year before, and that represents most of it in cash. But then that cash that we've spent goes to the construction in progress on both the hub and North Bend and the MRI project are reflected in there. So again, we're using those funds as investments to drive service lines that will generate revenue for the district for years to come that way.
Okay.
Any questions on the balance sheet? All right, if we can scroll down to the cash flow statement, this kind of just reiterates what we've discussed before. You can see our cash flow from operations is positive. We about 7 million from our operations cash generation, but then we had our investing, which is in our improvements. So there's we've invested 31 million, and then we've gotten in financed 136 million. So overall, we've had a positive net cash change of $111 million for the year. So again, good, strong cash, strong balance sheet. Are our liabilities high? Yes, we have a lot there, but again, that liability is being used to invest in service lines.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, I see that LTGO bonds under that, so those are invested on the service that I was speaking about. Yeah.
Yes, there's
Okay.
two bonds. Yep, there's our LTGO bonds, and then there's the revenue bonds that make up that debt.
Okay.
So taking a look at the graphs, you can see our days of cash dip down there when we received the revenue bonds. I mentioned that last month. As we spend that cash that becomes from restricted to unrestricted, you will see those days of cash grow. We also had some good cash inflows in as well. So our days of cash, free cash is 130 days of cash that we have available. So that's cash that's above what our debt restrictions are. So a solid cash of 130 days, and that's continuing to grow. Our AR days are well below the goal, like I mentioned before. Any other questions on these graphs?
I do have a quick question. I don't think we projected anything to do with the hub on our cash projections and whatever our bonds would be and our expenses directly related to the hub.
Correct.
Yet,
those were not budgeted.
We have days in cash budget at 100 million. That probably wasn't right. My guess, that's probably about 100 million less or 70 million less or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Do you understand that? Or
can you repeat that? Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think that we included the projected budget of 100 million in days in cash because we
No,
were.
we did not. We did not.
So
Yeah.
this 100 million is just thrown in there, kind
And
of.
it's all restricted, so that's why it's not showing up on that days in cash number too. Yes, you are correct, Commissioner
Okay.
Spikers. I would also say that we did not budget those expenses either for
Yeah.
those bonds because we did not know whether we were what we were going to get as well. So those are variances to both the balance sheet and to the income statement from the 2024 budget that was passed
It's
last
something
November.
to be thinking about if you're looking at this and going, hey, it doesn't sound right. Well, it really is right because we didn't include those. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's important to know that this was not a budgeting error. I want to be really clear. We strategically and intentionally left that out of the budget so that we could use the budget to direct operations. And then we were kind of running the strategy and the budget for the hub outside of that, knowing that we would have variances. So you can either take a wild guess and put it in, or you can budget what you know and are comfortable with and then explain the variances. So we chose to explain the variances.
And not to mention the fact that we didn't know we were going to get all the great work that you and others have done with the $5 million grants.
Right. We never budget for grant monies.
Right.
Yep.
Well, thank goodness we're going to get 3
Thank you.
million here to bring us above
Yep.
zero.
Yep.
Okay.
Any
Patrick.
other questions? I think we're on to the volume metrics and clinic metrics.
I'll take that handover. Thank you, CFO Ritter. Good evening, commissioners. In the interest of time, and as always, I'm here to answer any questions, and I thought we might start there. On this first page, are there any questions about volume targets that we did not review or discuss in the finance packet? If not, I have a couple of highlights for you. So one thing I wanted to draw your attention to over all three slides, actually, and all volume targets was, and something that we bring to the table each time is patient satisfaction. So in actuality, I'm going to tell you the story instead of having you see it here. As we talked to the operational leaders about patient satisfaction, I had to pull out this month in particular that across all service lines, our patient satisfaction ranked above 80%, so 80 to 90%. But the ER in particular was 100% last month, with 13 out of 13 surveys returned. So while you see our volume targets were down a bit, the patients who were seeing, those who answered the survey, 100%. And again, that is a remarkable metric, and I thought worth hearing.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to the ED team and leadership under Abby Wallen. So wonderful job there. Otherwise, we are on trend in clinics in urgent care for actual 2024 actual. We did see a decrease in visits because of expected both a short month and number of days in November and having 6 providers out. But again, looks like it matches nearly exact with last year's actual, so not overall surprising. Outpatient therapy and inpatient therapy visits, you'll see again, outpatient therapy was down a bit with inpatient therapy visit volumes up. And again, staffing issue has been has been an issue with outpatient therapy, but overall, we are doing well there. Lab tests and specimen collections on par with clinic volumes. If no questions there, we can go to the next slide. Thank you, Jen. All right. Endoscopy, we did see increased number of visits over last year actual, but down 10 visits from last month. So again, we start to see a decline towards the end of the year with holidays, less interest overall in screening. Mammography, we have spoken about this and you did hear, we did hire a full-time mammography tech that begins in January. So look forward to that program being back online full-time with a full-time provider. So very much looking forward to that. And you'll see C&E Ralston just made a comment as well about, yes, thank you for that win. Tricia Ralston just shared too, Lisa Childress has worked very hard to stabilize staffing in her department. We have had a number of agency staff and 2 just joined us in this last month as permanent staff. So again, we look forward to, while we have some decrease in number of visits due to difficulty with staffing, she's working hard on that, and conversions to permanent staff is a big deal.
And Tammy, I can't help but maybe just make sure we're really clear. We know that we don't enjoy having to use traveler staff, but this is one of maybe several actually win and success stories that we've had where those travelers have actually converted and stayed with us permanently. So the extra cost of having those travelers probably offsets the recruitment fees that there might be for having recruiters. So it's lovely to know that they come to our organization, they like it so much they want to stay. So congrats to Lisa and her team.
Definitely. Lisa's done a great job. All right. Any other questions for me on this slide? If not, we can move to the next. Thank you, Jen. ED department patient admits to inpatient or observation was down slightly last month, but our inpatient average daily census for inpatient was stable. An increase in uptick in swing bed. I did speak to this just briefly at the Finance Committee, and it demonstrated and highlights the amount of work that Heather, Paris, and team are doing and will continue to do in the new year to garner admits from our surrounding facilities into the swing bed program. That is a constant daily work and important to have happen to keep patients coming to our facility for care. Otherwise, observation hours were down slightly. Any questions or specific details you would like about one area?
Great job, Tammy. Thank you very much. I had the pleasure of experiencing one of our conversions from part-time or staff, the temporary people that we hire staffing this last week, and it was a fantastic experience. And she was so excited to be a permanent staff person. She was elated.
Right. That's a great story. Thank you for sharing, Commissioner Halgley.
Yeah, I have a question, Tammy. Are you separating the stats for North Bend Clinic, or do you lump it in all your reports here?
Great question. They are included in the total, Commissioner Herron, so we do not break out right now North Bend.
But they were broken out in the write-up, Emma, that we had. So on the first month of operation, we had 236 patients that we saw in North Bend in November, which is a really good number for a brand new clinic starting up there. Over 13 patients a day for the days that they were open there. And as you know, November was a short month with the holidays in it too. So it's in that write-up portion of it.
I think it's a good practice, good best practices to be able to know the numbers so that in next year we'll have a comparison to see where we are at that point. Thank you.
Yep.
Emma, to be clear, we track all volume at all clinics and we know all of those numbers. This is the board report, and so we do it more at a board governance level. So we put all the clinic volume together, but your operations team for sure knows the different volumes and the different service lines. So just want to reassure you that we do keep track of it.
Yeah. Okay, I understand, but it's much more clearer when it is somewhat separated and you have the day-to-day or independent numbers rather than lumping it in all in one. But I understand, that's fine. It makes it easier, I think, for me to really be clear about how we are actually doing versus the entire
Understanding the trends. Yeah. Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Anything else, Dr. Moore?
Sorry about
Tammy,
that. I had to
anything
go
else?
back off of mute. No, nothing else. Thank you so much. And congratulations to commissioners who were sworn in this evening.
You betcha. Moving on now to the warrant section, I believe is next. Jen, if you'd go ahead and pull that up. Thank you very much. So we are at the warrant section. I'll go ahead and call for approval of the warrants for the month of November 2025 in the dollar amount of $11,266,685. Can I have an approval of those warrants? Motion to approve those warrants.
I think
Maybe
last month was 17 million. Why is the big drop? If I'm correct, correct, I think our approval last month was 17 million.
Can I go ahead
And
and?
this month is 11
Commissioner Herron, can
million.
I go ahead and go
Yeah.
ahead and further with the motions first and second, and we'll come back to.
I'll make
questions.
the motion at this time and we can talk about it after.
Okay,
if
thank
there's
you.
a
Can I
second.
have a second?
Okay, I'll second that. And we
Thank
can
you, Commissioner
discuss
Herron.
it.
Go ahead
Thank you.
and, for discussion, go ahead, Commissioner Herron, please.
I
with your
think,
comment.
if I'm correct, last month's, warrants was 17 million plus. I don't have the,
Mhm.
but I'm just trying to recollect. And
Right.
this time it's 11. There's a, 6 million difference.
Patrick,
where
would
did
you
that
speak to that? I
6
believe it was
million
primarily
come
in the hub, if I remember correctly, but Patrick, would you speak to that?
Yeah, so we paid 2 invoices on the hub last month, and we paid some of the closing costs and with that as well last month. So that's why those numbers were higher. The number this month we only had the 1 invoice from for the hub of about $3 million dollars there, and then we had 2 payrolls, so that's why that number is less than the previous month. That it will fluctuate month to month. As we get into the spring, we will see a lot bigger numbers as we start paying for the steel going up and everything like that too.
Thank you. Does that?
Yep.
Commissioner Herron, does that?
Yeah, but this month was more bigger. We have more weeks than last month. Last month,
November's a
there's
shorter
4
month than October.
November is a shorter month, but we have higher warrants. December is longer month, but we have lower warrants.
We haven't got to December yet, though.
We're just getting the invoices from the billing people that are working on our MOB. That's,
You
they're
were
lagging,
asking,
so.
you were asking about October versus November, I believe, with the 17 million in October and 11 million now in November.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, okay.
That's okay.
All right, but yeah, okay, yeah, October, November, but they are both the same number of weeks. If you look
And
at
different
October
expenses
and you
on
look at
the-
November, the 5 weeks, well,
Patrick
you know,
alluded to
okay,
different expenses
that's
in
fine.
the hub,
Yeah, okay,
etc.
I'm good. I'm all right. That's okay. Thank you. Don't
Oh,
want to hold
thanks
you
for-
up.
Thank you for asking. No, thank you for asking. With that, the motion's been made and seconded. Are there any further questions? Can I go ahead and call for the vote? Anyone? Go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion that's been made and seconded to approve the warrants, Jen, if you please. To approve the warrants in the amount of $11,266,685 for the month of November 2025. May I have an approval?
Aye.
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 My
Aye.
first $1 million vote, aye.
I. And do we have every motion in favor? That's good. And then, excuse me, I'm out of sequence here. Opposed, none, and let the record show that Commissioner Norris is not in attendance. With that being said, motion carries. And I'll go on to, thank you, everybody. I'll go on to Commissioner comment. And I'll go ahead and open it up at this point. Mr. Mark L. Bowers, I'd like to ask you and to have you have an opportunity to share any commissioner comments of a commissioner to be comments with the group.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd
You're
like
welcome.
to thank those who helped me for my campaign. They were tireless and they covered every city in our district. I really appreciate their help. I appreciate my family tolerating me being away from home a lot. I appreciate all the support that I've gotten from the commissioners, the executive staff, and everyone I've met at Snoqualmie Valley Hospital. I'm so excited about the trajectory of where we're going. I feel a little guilty. You guys have done all the heavy lifting and now I'm just riding the crest of the wave. But I appreciate your support. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Commissioner Herron.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I would like to congratulate Jennifer. And Mark, for your re-election. And I know that we're gonna be facing a lot of challenges, and with you two coming on, I'm sure we're gonna have some great ideas from both of you, and and your active participation. And I want to thank all the staff that's working very hard to make our success materialize. So thank you all, and have a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, whatever. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Commissioner Herron. Commissioner Carter.
Thank you, President Hagley.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Emma. Congratulations, Mark. Welcome. Can't wait to sit and have coffee with you right after Christmas. So I just want to acknowledge the staff rallying and doing everything they could during the flood emergency. Thank you so much for that. We see you. We also see you when you give up your free time to come to these meetings. You know, we heard today, they are not mandatory, nor are they paid. So, you know, people are giving up their free time, their leisure time with their families, their Netflix time, to sit and watch this show. And so I just really want to say, you know, thank you to the staff that attend these meetings. It really shows that you care about the district and the community, and we see that and we appreciate it, and we appreciate you. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays to everybody. That's it. Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome. Thank you, Commissioner Carter. And again, congratulations. Mr. Spikers.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mark and Jen. I want to make sure I included both of you this time. Last time, I just figured because you were not running against anybody, Jen, that it was not a big deal, but it is a big deal.
Oh,
because here's why it's such a big deal. We're going to have a full board for the first time. That will have 5 sets of people, you know, thinking 5 sets of people that will be able to look at things and hopefully overcome the challenges that we're going to have next year. And hopefully we'll work with the staff to continue to do the best we can to make sure that the district is successful. And I'm looking forward to that. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I will see you all in the new year.
Thank you, Dave. You know, kind of I can ditto everything, but I tell you what, it's sitting from my seat and that of the rest of the board. It has been an amazing year, and I can't help but kind of come back and recap. Not only did we move forward on the realization of this hub developing, but then there was this audacious idea about, you know, I think we need to have another clinic. And I think North Bend would be a good place. And I think we found a building, and I think we have a lease that we can deal with, and we have architectural designs, and we've adapted some incredible construction methodology with the panels that we utilized in that space that are extremely efficient and adaptable. And it's kind of the North Bend Clinic is kind of a baby version of what the hub will become. And so those of you that haven't been in that clinic, I would strongly invite you to go in and see it, say hello to the friendly staff, and just take a look at the ingenuity and the creativity and how that facility blends in with the community, and just a taste of what the hub will become. Not to mention the economic gains that we'll have and realize to the district. Then going on to this recent event that we had with the storm, and yes, I pinged Renee, probably in a bit of anguish on her side, that I pinged her, and I was concerned about the North Bend Clinic, knowing of the raising water in that parking lot up there. And yeah, I can't help it. It's in my nature as a retired firefighter, but they did a phenomenal job. And that speaks to not only good planning and preparedness, but it speaks to the culture of the organization that Renee and the entire team has assembled, and we see day in, day out, and how they execute with a sense of compassion and pride and good planning, you know, quite frankly. real excited about the Bold Awards coming up in February. Oh my gosh, the grants, there's so many things that I could go on and on about that are just endless. And I would suggest that this is really just the beginning of really just a great story that we'll look back at 5, 10, 20, 30 years down the road, generationally. That it's just a great to be a part of the unfolding of this generationally fantastic accomplishment. I can't help but acknowledge the years of service that we had from Commissioner Dariel Norris, and her efforts and commitment to the district don't go unnoticed, and we will always be eternally thankful for that. I am so happy to have another 6 years with Jen Carter, and Mark, I'm thrilled to have you on board, and looking forward to working with you. And all you have to do is ask questions. And Emma, with regards to the financial side of things, and you care so much about what's going on, and genuinely, David and I are certainly here to help in any way that we can to bring clarity and good optics to what's going on in our operations. So
Clarity
with that,
and transparency.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I can't help
Kevin,
but
you
say,
mentioned Commissioner Norris. I just want another plug for the Bold Awards. Our staff is planning a special recognition for her at that event if she's able to attend. So we have ordered a beautiful plaque in recognition of her service, and we will find a very special way to present her with that.
thank you.
I'll let you all know when we're able to get the details worked out.
That really touches me and means a lot to me. Thank you. Lastly, or next to last, don't forget to do your stipend reports, everybody on the board. You know what that is. And then I wish everybody is
Yes,
safe.
Kevin, actually, Shauna will not forgive me if I don't tell you this. You must get your stipends in. Patrick, do you know the cutoff date? I think it's
Well,
January 5th.
If I don't do it
But-
tonight, I'm going to do it tomorrow.
Yes, if you don't get them in by January 5th, they cannot post them to this year, and that's the cutoff. We can't pay past that.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
make sure you get them in. Do it tonight
Thank
after the
you.
board meeting.
Yeah, exactly. With that, safe and happy Merry Christmas to everybody. And I'm so excited about 2026 and beyond. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be in the seat, and everybody have a good night.
Thank you.
You betcha.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Merry
Bye.
Christmas.
Happy holidays.